So as I was saying, the poltergeists are definitely a lot worse than the poltergeist. You get a poltergeist in your house, that's it.
Like spiritual ducks.
Just
Yeah,
ghostly.
yeah.
Yeah.
Welcome to November Foxtrot. You've joined us on another magical Wednesday where we're talking bollocks, basically.
Hello.
It's been a bit sporadic these last few weeks. We've all had a lot on. It's been crazy. I still haven't moved house. We're now in my bedroom.
Getting boring now, not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Getting a bit dull.
I'm getting bored of it as well.
Yeah.
Didn't I say that to you a couple of days ago? It was like,
Yes.
oh, I'm going to be moving soon. I went, I'm bored now. I don't care.
Yeah, I apologise if it inconveniences you guys.
Yeah. I'm way past it.
So we will continue on as best we can. But apologies, there may be some mild interruption.
There may be trouble ahead.
Same with people emailing as well. We've had a couple of emails come in. I have, to be honest with you, I haven't had a chance to get back to you yet, but I will do as soon as possible. So, how are you both? It's been
very well.
Busy.
Very busy. Very busy. Very miffed still that I can't find my mutt tool. Very miffed. I'm vexed. I'm incredibly vexed right now. I don't know, man. I think it's just one.
Didn't we say someone said last week it might be in your boot of your truck?
Week before.
Yeah, I think it was me.
I'm gonna have to search that because I'm flabbergasted as to why it would be there. But anyhow, that's by the by.
And Andy was the last to see it, apparently.
Oh, was he now?
Yeah, sounds like it.
No, I don't want it.
I do remember lending it to someone.
Who?
To use to do something.
That would be the culprit. I just borrowed a spoon.
Maybe it was that. Maybe I lent you the mutt tool to whittle a spoon.
Maybe it was mine to do his fork.
Yeah, could have been. We will never know now. We'll never know.
No. Hi, Chris. Hi, Kenny, Harry, Steve, the Punished One, Les, Jigglypuff, Gus, Kenny Rebel. Right. I have a quick little announcement. So I was at the JBG CQB training this last weekend.
As long as it's not about moving house.
No, it's not about moving house. There was a gentleman came over to me and said hello.
Have you touched me?
Show.
Touch me here.
Yeah.
And here.
On the.
I think you finally touched me here. Right there. But apparently he listens in the car with his son Noah. So I just wanted to give a little shout out to Noah to say hello.
And sorry.
He also said, he did say that he has to, because he listens in the car to us. He has to kind of shut the conversations down because apparently Noah now knows the phrase SOTD.
Oh no! So
yeah, apparently he keeps saying it's not the abbreviation.
I don't know how old Noah is, but I'm just picturing Christmas Day now.
Noah's old enough to know that if the phrase.
I was just thinking if he opens an absolute epic Christmas present on Christmas Day and just says that is what it is. Looks up to his dad. His dad's just like.
Yeah.
He did make me laugh because he was telling me about how he has to kind of jump in and kind of mute the podcast quickly. And he said that you two are the worst offenders. He said, I'm not too bad. And it might just be that he was talking to me, but he said, you two
Of course it was. Of course it was. Yeah. Yeah.
You're the worst. You're the instigator of it all.
The instigator, yeah. Instigator slash.
Also,
me and Lance, when we get together, we're very professional. Do you know that?
Yeah.
When it's just me and Lance and you come along, that's it. It just goes downhill.
I've watched the two of you.
And plus, we don't have far right tendencies either. So just saying.
Yeah. Well, it's all very in at the moment. I mean, I'm going to be
very in.
I don't have far right tendencies, but for anyone that does,
is bang on trend.
In the US, if the elections in the US go the way they are, it's quite possible it's going to be bang on trend. So.
We'll all be eating our pets. Who knows? Yeah.
Sorry, Noah.
Sorry, Noah.
Yeah. Anyway, hello, Noah.
Don't repeat what we say. It'll get you into a world of trouble.
Actually, that goes for everyone. Like, just don't.
Yeah.
Yeah. Steer clear.
That's going to be the closing words at the end of the show.
Our numbers just drastically dropped. Tonight we're going to be talking camouflage patterns. So this is going to be the first of two parts of shows. So there'll be a back-to-back. We're going to be talking about basically.
I see Mike's made the effort.
Yeah, man.
Cool.
You can't tell me that doesn't look cool.
Where's the gun? I can't see it for all that camouflage. Where is it?
Yeah, I know, right?
Wow.
It's hidden in plain sight, my friend. That's
I've got one.
sort of camouflage.
I've got one of them.
Oh, that looks nice.
Yeah, I just
Lovely
hide my
one.
stuff around other people's houses.
It's good camo.
It's
I like
good
it.
Oh, we're going to be talking about camouflage patterns from the inception of camouflage, the basics behind it, where it's all come from, why, kind of camouflage faux pas, custom camouflages, sciences of disguising, and stuff like that. Interesting one, or two parts. So bear with us. There should be some knowledge shared, which, based on our previous track record, there will be one fact that we will come up with at some point. So, in the meantime, there's actually been some news this week. So, shall we roll into some news?
News.
There is some.
I take my gun and I go pew 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 pew.
News.
Oh, still got it.
Oh, look at that. It's so-
News. I thought you had the plane background.
Oh, sorry. Do you want me to do? Was it Thames
going-
Valley
you were going-
Television?
Yeah, Thames Valley Television.
Hang on. Sorry, bear with. Welcome to the news. I don't know why that makes you laugh so much.
It does. It proper chuckle. So one of the bits of news that I found out this week is that for anyone that has ever used 01 Airsoft, the shop is going to be closing. So 01 comprised of a number of different entities. So there was the Ground Zero site shop. There's Ground Zero, which is the site. That's a little confusing. And then the National Airsoft Festival and 01 Airsoft. So they used to basically be close, but they were all different entities. And after 27 years, and one of the UK's oldest airsoft retailers, they are going to be shutting. Now, there's two ways to look at that. Obviously, there's the negative in terms of, you know, I know I got into airsoft and was buying a lot of stuff from 01 Airsoft. So for me, it's like it's a part of my airsoft history that's clearly I've got old enough now that that's died away, which is quite sad. But more interestingly, perhaps for other shops that are new and upcoming, or even the more established ones, maybe that just means that there's a little bit more competition there now, because whilst there's less competition in terms of there's less companies, they're now competing. So it might be
For that
I
client
know what I'm
base.
trying to say. Yeah, so the client base
We
is now
understand you,
more
mate, don't
concentrated.
worry.
So the shops, maybe the shops will have more stock, resources, stuff like that. I don't know. It'll be an interesting one to see how that plays out. But it's definitely
Andy, do you understand a word he's saying?
just waffling on until one of you guys jumps in and helps.
No, see that it also brings up a thing that I've noticed recently is that there's a hell of a lot of people messaging and on the message board saying, I'm giving up. Where can I sell my weapons and things like that? And it's like, is that are people giving up airsoft, or is it slowly
Dying out.
dying out? Well, not dying out, but you know what I mean. Is it?
Yeah. I mean, it's
Yeah,
an
but
interesting
they could be
one, 'cause I
giving
know-
up for a number of reasons, you know, medical issues or finances or moving away or you know just losing interest in the hobby. You know, there's loads of different reasons people stop doing what it is they're doing. So, but I don't think this will ever go away anytime soon unless the useless government has anything to do with it, which is. But I didn't vote for them, so I'm in the clear there.
Yeah.
I don't have to listen to them because I didn't put them there. That's the way I look at it. Sorry, mate. I didn't vote for you, so fuck all to do with me. You talk to the rest of your minions that voted for you, not me.
Oh, Jigglypuff Gus, apparently 01 is still going to do a new online store. So maybe it's just the
actual physical
article,
going
maybe
shop
I'm
front.
confused, and it's just the shop.
Well, all
front.
shop fronts are going. Let's be honest. Like look at high streets now; they're miserable.
Yeah.
You know, which is a shame. But alas, that's thanks to Amazon.
Some other news as well is that gunmen are now running the Free Fire Zone FFZ in Bourne, Lincolnshire.
Yes, they are. Congratulations.
Yes,
guys.
well
Thank
done,
you, Harry,
well
for-
done, lads. The most northerly of sites now, apparently. Yay, more northern. Woo woo.
Well, at a certain point, too far north, it just becomes a war zone. That's just you just go up there, just the purge.
Shots
got- yeah,
fired
we got
across the
shots
bow,
fired.
sir.
We've got the shots fired sound effect.
Quickly, shots
No,
fired.
I don't mean necessarily Scotland. I'm talking about the Isles up north. Like literally, you just go out there and just right. Should we play some airsoft here? Yeah, go for it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
that's
what I
it,
mean. Up north, they have more land because they have less
Yeah.
people.
Buy an island up there and just Airsoft Island. Airsoft Island. We could be Airsoft pirates. We should definitely do that.
Get a whole load of camouflage, like life preservers. That'd be fun, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Pirates don't wear life preservers.
I would, because I'm a very major risk.
I'm a
for you.
rubbish pirate.
They don't call me Drowny for nothing.
Yeah, God, it's Captain Drowny.
Yeah, Captain McDrowney.
Said Drowny. Said Drowny. DR.
You also
Drowny.
said captain, so let's just acknowledge the rank, the
Yeah.
natural rank going on here. So that's fine.
I'm Commodore. Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Rear Admiral. Gotta
I'm
be.
sweet.
Definitely. Anything in the rear. Anything.
Cannon boy. Yeah, I'm rear.
Cannon. Ball carrier.
Yeah.
Oh. Right. So that's kind of the news. Unless you guys have got anything else that you've seen pop up.
No.
No, I don't think so.
I haven't really been looking at news.
I bought some Moo camouflage for my
very
US Marines Aliens thing, which I'm doing with Harry. It's not Polish Desert, however, I think it will pass. Big man signed off on it already, so I think happy days.
Well, as long as the boss has signed off on it.
Oh, nice.
I quite like it, and I'm quite a purist, as in like Woodland DPMs, Desert
Is that
DPM,
ATAC?
ATAX AU, Arid Urban. Got that. Had a bit of a steal, so I thought, yeah. Although the trousers are monstrous, the top fits like it's been tailored to me, but the trousers are very big. So
It's like the formal naval trousers, like the bell bottoms.
oh no, these are fucking enormous.
Hornblower sort of style.
Yeah. Oh, these are proper, man. Yeah, there'd be no socks that I could tuck them into and get away with it. I'm telling you. Yeah, yeah. No.
Tailored. Just take a sec, like a big triangle.
I'd need to take about 4 inches off the back of the leg and then have it restitched because they are my legs in there, and then you got the rest of the trouser. Honestly, it's like throwing a sausage up the Blackwall Tunnel. It's fucking. I'd love to see the guy who wore these trousers before me because he must be absolute bear of a man.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm gonna have to invest in some like these smaller trousers. But yeah, I actually really like the pack. The U-backs is really cool. I don't know where it's gone. I don't know. It's over there. But yeah, it fits really nice, and I do like the. It's basically replaced ATAX. Basically replaced the digital with a more organic pattern shape to it, which is what we'll go into later on. Funny enough. So I know nothing else about that other than that, really. But there you go. I think it worked rather well. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What are you smirking
Did you
at?
see the video? No, I was just thinking the video during the week of the guy walking down the corridor, and then I think it's his dog comes running out around the corner.
Oh, the aliens. Yeah. Yeah, that was who put that there? Kenny Rebel.
I think it was
in the
Mark
NoFo
or
chat.
Kenny or, yeah.
Yeah, I saw that. Yes.
One of the things Harry and I have been chatting about. So Harry Badger, who is obviously super into making stuff and bits and pieces like that. I knew full well that the phones, the field phones from a couple of weeks ago would be of his interest, and we've been having chats, and Harry's now bought some chuffing phones thanks to me. So between us, we have an array of phones because I bought some more as well. So
I found my phone. Can I play? Can I play again? I found my
you
phone.
can play as well. Yeah.
Can I play? Do you know what? This is the first handset I ever bought for Airsoft, like 9 years ago, and it probably doesn't work, but I'm yet to try it. But I'm sure it does. I'm sure it's going to be fine.
Yeah.
So is one of you going to make one? Take SIM cards and just have it as a mobile.
No, so funnily enough, we've got
mingle on the
ideas.
old-
We've been chatting about potentially creating like an interchange out of a Pelly box.
Mhm.
So we can have a number of OPs out with like a phone line back. Then potentially you've got someone who, when you do stag duty, obviously stag duty just standing around on guard is a bit boring. So potentially one of the roles of a stag duty could be to man this interchange. So when the call comes in, you have to patch them through.
Can I be the interchanger? Were you like back in the 40s? They used to wear roller skates, didn't they, to plug in?
Yeah, I don't think there'll be that many. I think it'll be probably a box about yay big. I mean, you can have roller skates and skate around.
I can see Lance looking like the ones out of out of John Wick, where he's sitting there in his white blouse and goes, "Operator, yes, certainly."
Yeah, definitely have to wear. Yeah, there's no other outfit if you're on comms than wearing a white blouse. Everyone knows that. That'd be so ridiculous.
This is call sign white blouse. Go for white blouse.
We are white blouse. We are white blouse.
White blouse, baggy ATAX.
Baggy ATAX.
Baggy ATAX. This is white blouse. Oh, what a cool sign! I love it. I love it.
So yeah, but that's pretty cool. So we've got some ideas for different games and bits and pieces like that. So there should be some fun stuff coming out in the future. So
won't be actually any shooting going on. It'll just be talking.
Hello? Yes, I'm okay. Thank you. Yes, I'm really good.
Hit! You have sunk my battleship.
Les says some news: dog tag closing for 6 weeks due to a full refurbishment at the end of September.
Mm-hmm.
Nicely done, Les.
So well done, Les. Thanks for
our man in the field.
Right, let's talk about camouflage. So if you want to throw any questions into the chat, please feel free to do so. Just put a little Q at the beginning, just helps us find them. Excellent. All right, Lance, you inferred
not me first. No, not me first. It was your idea. You go first.
No. Listen, I was going to infer that from your conversation in the group chat earlier that we had, that you knew the difference as to why we transitioned from red to green, etc. So I was going to let you talk about that if you'd like to.
Let's start at the beginning.
Beginning of the beginning.
Right, this is literally the history of camouflage right now. We're going to roll into it.
It's probably wrong. I did some readings over during the week. So obviously the traditional British redcoats, American Civil War, French and Indian War, blah blah blah, all redcoat, this that, and the other. The transition to khaki sort of happened around the 1890s when we decided to go and have a big battle in India. So they transitioned from red to it, and obviously rifles improved. So shooting distances improved. But wearing a bright red jacket wasn't probably the most diverse bit of camouflage you could use in a green field. So yeah, they transitioned to khaki. Prior to that, the 95th rifles were always in green because they were never formed in line. They were always skirmishers, sharpshooters on the flanks. So they were always in camouflage, so hence the green. So the British Army were aware of it, and from what I could take from that, they wanted to save a few people from getting just shot. So I thought, we'll put the 95th rifles and our sharpshooters in green and let them hide in the bushes, but the rest of them, just put them in red. I love the colour red, and we'll stand them all in a line in a green field facing the enemy. Brilliant.
Do you know why they were red?
I don't know why they were red. It's a stupid idea. I mean, they still have red dress uniform now, but obviously...
From my understanding, red was the cheapest colour at the time. So obviously, the whole premise of armies and everything throughout history, it's a mass contract. You've got very little money to spend on an awful lot of stuff. Red was the cheapest dye, so that's why they picked red. It was nothing to do with hides the blood or anything like that. It was literally just, that's cheap.
But you say that, sir, but the transition, part of the reason for...
You say that, sir,
but you say that, sir, but I see your comment and I raise you my comment. It got to the point where red dye became really, really expensive, and hence the transition to khaki as well. So although it was cheap to start with when they started using it, the khaki came about because of finances. Of course, British Army.
It's military grade red.
Not dyeing them red anymore, sir. It's too expensive, sir.
Yeah, so literally the British redcoats were founded in 1645 when the Parliament passed the new Model Army ordinance, and the colour red was chosen because the dye was the cheapest to produce.
There you go.
And that is what Wiki says.
So 1690?
1645.
1640. So over 350 odd years of wearing red to war.
Yeah.
And they never thought
to be fair, lots of other countries did very similar things. French was blue, like
Yeah, but if they were
That's all I can name off the top of my
stood, yeah, but if they were stood with their backs to the sea,
yeah,
you know,
Or running
there's a-
away up a hill.
yeah, running away up a hill, Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
was the sky.
I'm just gonna
yeah,
jump in very
or in a
quickly because
tree, looking down at the redcoats.
Rich-
Just
Rich was the gentleman I met at the JBG event with the Sun Noah. So hello, Rich.
Hello,
Rich.
I,
Sorry
I
to your
gave him a
son
little
for
patch.
swearing.
So,
Yeah.
yeah. So, do you know the origins of the word camouflage? You know where that came from?
No,
No.
do you?
So camouflage. Yeah, I do. Camouflage
Oh.
came from the French camoufleur, which meant to disguise. Apparently, so it was a French word that was used, but it was technically invented by the British. So there we go. Point to England.
Yeah. God, the Brits.
So anyway, so camouflage obviously sort of started to evolve. Andy, you'll probably know a little bit more about the early German camouflages just from your reenactment stuff.
No.
So it's the splitter. Oh, I can't remember the name of it now. Splitter Farm.
Oh, I was US, mate. I know nothing.
No, that's fine.
about
I just thought you'd know what it was. That was all. Splitter Tarnmuster, which is, I think you might recognise it.
You should shave your tash smaller. You'll be able to say it better.
with a more angry.
Yeah. And bang your desk a bit when you're talking.
So, yeah, that was kind of one of the. Oh, you've thrown me now, you bastards.
Bad word. He said a bad
I'm
word.
sorry.
Pound in
I'm
the pot.
sorry.
We should get a swear jar going.
We could do, actually. We could raise a bit of money with that one.
We could waste an awful lot of money with that one.
Anyway, Splitter Tarnmuster was one of the kind of multicolour German camouflages that came in through World War II. And then apparently by World War II, sort of towards the end of World War II, there's an awful lot more camouflage starting to appear. So you've got snow camouflage, bits and pieces like that. It's not just a case of we're just dyeing our white blouses khaki anymore. You know, we've actually got some concept of camouflage. I think World War One, the kind of the end of World War One, where you've got an awful lot more aerial reconnaissance happening as well. People were starting to kind of cotton on to the fact of, you know, people up there can see shit down here.
Well, you've always had the
kind of
sharpshooter, or
camouflage
the sharpshooter, or the sniper. They've always used, like, even back before World War One. You know what I mean? Like, even like the French Indian War, and that there was always that camouflage. And I always thought, like, you always, like, when you see in the movies, I'd from a camouflage point of view, I'd always rather be like the militia, who are just wearing like their civvy browns or something like that, because they just disappear in the woods, and you've got all the redcoats marching along, la la la, fucking drums banging and flutes playing.
Well, this is the thing that I found out during our research,
And they're surprised they get ambushed, and they were like,
Yeah, was
why do you think that is?
a lot of them used to use animal skins.
Yeah.
Like the first actual camo was zebra stripes, and they used to just kind of get in amongst the zebras
with a zebra head on.
Yeah.
And presumably where there are zebras, like not over here. Is that be like,
Yeah.
what
Yeah. Walking down,
dressed like a soldier? They're looking for soldiers dressed like a clown.
fucking panto horse comes walking past. They're not soldiers. This is horsey. Look at him. Good for the club. Good for the club. Good for the club.
One of the backs have got the
Coconuts.
And
Nay,
everyone just following
nay.
behind a walking tree, just like
Oh, have you seen that one where the guy's got the box hedge on the frame and he gets into a cinema for free?
yes, I
Yeah.
have seen that.
And he goes up the escalator. There's people coming down and they're just looking like there's a hedge going up there. Classic camo.
Right. Sorry. Only we could take a serious subject and just straight off on the right
go off on it.
Yeah. Sorry.
Right. So, where are we? Yeah. It's blimey. Sorry, I made a load of notes and I've lost my place in them now.
Dead
Right.
air. We've got dead air.
Yes. So that's basically where camouflage came from. So camouflage was invented along those lines. And it subsequently evolved and evolved and evolved ever since. So one of the things I thought we could do tonight as a bit of a fun fact, I set these guys a little bit of a challenge to talk about some camouflage patterns and the evolvement. You may not have read this, Andy. I know you read it, Lance.
I didn't know it was a challenge.
Yeah, no,
just do a bit of research on some camo patterns.
Don't call things what they're not then.
I did my research.
There you go. Andy did some research.
I did some research.
See,
Right,
I
so
can
one
do
of the-
that because Noah can't listen to that.
Yeah, but he might be watching it at home now. On like the big screen with like his granny and granddad there and stuff. And you've just sworn at his grandparents.
How could you?
Still knows what you're doing. You've done it now. Heartbroken.
SOTD. Right. Would you one of you guys want to talk about your camo pattern first that you wanted to talk about?
I think Andy should go first because you just swore at a child.
Go on then, Andy.
Right. So the first digital camouflage that was released was in
Thank you, Harry.
1997, and it was the Canadian Armed Forces CADPAT. They were the first one to go with digital, and then the Americans took it over and did their sofa one. I've forgotten what it was called. Although the copyright design was only sold to the US that did the Marpat design. So the Marpat and the CADPAT are basically the same camo, which I didn't realize, but just different colorings.
A silly question. Is the CADPAT because it's Canadian?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Canadian. Yeah, it's cast as Canadian pattern.
But the Canadons use DPM as well. Long time.
They used to.
Well, British Force,
I think a lot of them have. A lot of the units over in Canada have moved over to CADPAT now. And that I'd like to get my hands on that because I think that would work wicked.
Yeah, I mean it's quite a color scheme wise. Sorry, I've not looked into CADPAT to be fair, but the color scheme wise, it's not too dissimilar colors from a DPM. It's obviously just a different.
Yeah, I think it's the same,
type, isn't it?
Palettes. It's just digital.
What are your guys' views on the difference between kind of we'll call it digital and analog, just because there's a nice little metaphor there. But
so like big,
yeah.
big
So between like
Big
obviously you got the Woodland DPM as like being the kind of an analog equivalent, and then you got like the proper digital patterns and things like that.
I don't like digi pattern in any shape or form. The cubed Minecraft trousers. I don't. No, it's not mine.
It does work. Like it really does work.
I prefer I prefer that one, the ATAX, which has got the digital in it, but it's much more concentrated. And like you say, it's a more organic pattern rather than it just being sort of like blocks of. Do you know what I mean?
Sorry, Drew just said cowpat is Commonwealth.
Very good, sir.
Yeah,
no, the one thing that I have noticed is over the years is that the pattern seems to be getting smaller. So like M81 and British DPM were the same sort of time period. Actually, I think that one might have been a bit earlier.
This British DPM came in sort of like the very early 60s.
Yeah.
That's been about.
And it's like very big pattern with like a small amount of details and wisps and things, which is basically what that is. That's like big chunky colors. But then as the years have gone on, like from basically the 60s, it seems to be the patterning seems to be getting smaller and smaller. Like the Multicam, that's quite a small, like that's got some big chunk patterns in it, but then it's all broken up by lots of little stuff. And then obviously digital is all little digital stuff. And then you've got ATAX, which is so small it ends up being a blur.
See, I find like the proper large scale digital format camouflage patterns to just be counterintuitive a little bit, because I get that they're obviously trying to provide that kind of pattern breakup and the color recognition and everything like that. But ultimately the whole premise of camouflage is that you're trying to avoid straight lines, because the straight lines things, they don't occur naturally in the environment. Urban environments are obviously slightly different, but for the most part, having a camouflage pattern to me, which is like a green, like the CAD pattern, stuff like that. If you've then got straight lines, even tiny straight lines, you've still got that kind of interface there, which isn't in the environment. Not to say that obviously CAD pack doesn't work, using that as an example, but I mean, like the AC, is it the ACU digital?
Yeah, the grey.
US used for an awful long time. Still look quite cool, but ultimately probably only really suitable for urban environments. But even then, if you look at sort of soldiers wearing that in that sort of that time, they kind of still stand out a little bit.
Yeah, but they did choose grey to be in the desert.
Well, they had grey across the board, didn't they? It wasn't just the desert.
The Navy went with their ACU digital was like dark blue and light blue, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, they've got to blend in with the sea.
But I'd like to think that they do a majority of their fighting from the grey battleship they're on. Yeah. As opposed to just, lads, we're under attack, jump in the water so we blend in. But all the guns are on the boat. Choose it back on the boat.
And you fall off, you go, well, I'm fucked. Didn't you?
And he completely disappeared.
Yeah. Oh, okay. We'll just throw the orange life vest out to him and hope that we've thrown it in the right direction.
Yes, yeah. Waking up for your duties and you're late. You think, oh shit, a quick run of bar playing it. They won't see me.
Yeah. Surely you just wear grey. So if you're walking next to a grey, plain grey, battleship grey, you go like that. Just be like, you can't see me.
Or like or just have like a funnel outfit.
Yeah.
Just wandering. There's lots of funnels on that ship.
There's nobody on that boat. It's completely barren.
Yes. But look at all the little funnels they've got. It's a very warm boat.
Stephen Whitehead has just sent a reminder of a picture of the ACU, which does work, which is on this sofa. So as long as you're fighting from that sofa, you're absolutely perfect.
That's it, urban, and it proves it works in an urban environment.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, if that person stood up or breathed or anything, like they'd stand out.
It's impressive. It's impressive.
It was a massive failure. Also, how much money they spent on that?
I dread to think.
The ACU digital.
The ACU digital, I think it was something like £6 billion, like 600. It's like $6 billion worth of research, and then someone went, "This works." What were you testing?
Without knowing, because presumably somebody somewhere picked that for a reason rather than just going,
I mean,
this is cool.
Question: Are we looking at this? Obviously, we are looking at this from an Airsoft Milsim point of view. So I'm thinking we're looking at this as if we're looking at someone who's sort of 30, 50 meters away. See, I don't really know what someone looks like wearing like Digi ACU looks like 400 meters away with an urban backdrop or whatever it is. So, anyone in the chat ever sniped someone at 400 meters wearing ACU Digicam?
Never shot at the Americans accidentally.
Taliban that we got going. Yes, yes, I have.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Why do you say that?
On Saturday.
Yeah, so we're looking at it from an Airsoft point of view where,
it's
a lot close up and personal. And it's like, well, that's not going to fucking work. No, not for us. Maybe not. But however, I don't know further afield. Maybe we need to get some images of ACU at 400 meters on a silhouette or whatever, if we can.
There is a picture I've just found, which I'll bring up quickly, which does seem to kind of infer that the digital ACU is not a bad one for kind of rocky environments, which, ultimately...
Oh, it's Captain Splatfuck's in the house from across the pond.
Oh, hello.
Oh, hello, mate. You all right?
There we go. I don't know where this website's from, but I've just found this one, airsoftpacific.com.
You can't say that wouldn't work there. If you think that's 10 meters away that picture's taken. You think 250 meters away, they're going to disappear pretty much. Do we take it all back? Does ACU digital actually really work?
I think ultimately, if you want to blend in with your environment, and it's the same with ghillie suits and stuff like that as well. Ultimately, one ghillie suit is not going to necessarily do you the same advantage in two different locations.
That's why I'm a firm believer. Like, obviously, I've got me Rust camo top half hood sort of thing, which I've sort of crafted and stuff like that. Not over the top crafted, but because I like to use a lot of natural foliage once you're out in the field, depending on where you are. Do you know what I mean? If you're on if you're in like grasslands for a long time, you want to get a load of the tall stuff at the front and this, that, and the other. But then if you transition into woodland, you want to ditch that and start getting some, like, especially going into autumn now. You know, the brackens, the ferns are starting to brown off, starting to add some more light browns, maybe a little bit of red through there, and some yellows and gold sort of thing, just to blend into that forest floor. So it's good to be able to transition using what's already out there, and having the loops and attachment points on your kit that you can just poke and prod stuff into. As a natural camouflage, you can't beat it. You know, you'll never create a natural camouflage. You know, what's the word I want to use? Like, you manufacture what's already out there. You'll never get any better than what's out there.
No, you can't fully replicate.
You could make a really good base layer, base color, which is like DPM, for example, where it's on a khaki background, or it's on like a desert tan background, or the same with Multicam or MTP. But you'll never create that pattern material which is as good as what's out there. Even like the Jack Pike stuff and that, and the Reed effect stuff, you know, it's never going to be as good as what the real stuff is to use, in my opinion. You know,
I do always find it amusing though, the marketing images that you see for some of these things that come out, and it's not just marketing for camouflage gear or anything like that. It's sometimes like the soldiers, sort of various militaries, kind of you get those kind of alley shots where they're out and about, and they have perfectly matched that camouflage for that back. Like, it's almost like, right, we need to go and take this photo over there. Right,
yeah, wardrobe. Wardrobe. Come on.
So yeah, it's always amusing, and it's the same with ghillie suits and stuff like that. You see a lot of people on some of the ghillie crafting groups and things like that are crafting their ghillies for very specific environments. They hang it up on their back hedge or whatever like that in their garden. Go, look, you can't see it, and they are really good. But as soon as you take some of these ghillie suits out of that environment or that kind of camouflage background, it's completely different. And it's the same stark contrast when you see some players wear all black at airsoft events. You know, all black can be good if you are hiding in a very shadowy environment. So if you're, you know, lying in a big rhododendron bush or something like that,
yeah,
perfect, because you won't be seen.
Yeah.
Or a car tire.
Or a car tire. Well, that would work.
Tire. Yeah. Absolutely. It's fucking weird.
No, I think it's referring to the Octo event. Not the Octo event, the Defiant event where we had
the Machiavellian.
Yeah.
You could have hidden in the car tires, Andy, if you turned up at the beginning rather than at the end.
Some of us had to work, I'm afraid.
Lance, do you want to talk about your camo pattern that you picked?
So yeah, Woodland DPM is for me.
Okay, job done.
It is for where we play.
At least I tried to do something interesting.
For where we play, no, but it is what it is. You know, I don't go for all different sorts of flamboyance. I mean, Christ, I felt very proud of purchasing that. You know, I've got MTP, Desert DPM, Woodland DPM, and that's me. The UK, this is fabulous. A lot of woodland sites in the UK. This works an absolute treat. It's a great base layer for craft. If you get a smock, it's a great base layer. Wow, look at that. And then just adding loops to that and put natural camouflage into it. But yeah, the British DPM pattern, which has been used and sort of like added to and customized by loads of different forces, like they use it in Yemen, New Zealand, Dutch, all sorts of places have used it at one point or another. I mean, it was like probably one of the first actual camouflage patterns about that was mass produced across a whole force. Do you know what I mean? Obviously there's previous, you know, like the Denison smock for the paras and that during World War II. Again, that was privately tailored for them for that specific tasking, you know. So but yeah, for me, the British DPM pattern, and I think there's an Irish DPM. Even the Irish did their own variant of it, which I've actually, when I looked at it today, I thought it looked quite a cool pattern material.
Yeah, Irish DPM
very similar, but I think it was just ever so much slightly lighter than the British Woodland DPM.
It's hard to get hold of now, apparently.
I've never, to be honest with you, it shows how much I've never heard of Irish DPM until today, until I saw on the listings and bits and bobs I was going through. But yeah, and a combination like Mark said in the chat of Woodland DPM top of Desert DPM bottoms. It's probably the best like 2.2 SAS you'd ever get. It just looks, I love it. It's the coolest look in the world. It really is. It is the best. But yeah, for me, if I had to pick one camo pattern to use in the UK, it would be Woodland DPM all day long. Over MTP, over Multicam, it would be Woodland DPM because it's just awesome. I loves it.
I mean, you compare it against Multicam, even at Airsoft events and things like that. So I'm thinking back to the last Octo event that we did, where the Tizzit forces were in Woodland DPM, except for Mark, who was in Desert DPM. And then all of the rest of the the NATO forces, I can't remember the name of it, the ATF, all called in Multicam, and the Woodland DPM just massively blends in more than the Multicam in some environments. But again, Multicam is a faction of, ultimately they're trying to come up with a camouflage pattern that suits the majority of the current conflicts. And for the most part, the current conflicts at the time were all, desert arid based, and Multicam, for all intents and purposes, is not terrible there.
No, it's not. Obviously, you've got your green zones.
I don't know if it's the best, but it's definitely not terrible.
Yeah. Well, like Pegasus says there, MC Tropic works well in the UK. Yeah, absolutely it does. But it's a darker variant of Multicam, the traditional Multicam. But then you're sort of starting to knock on the door of the DPM colour palette. Do you know what I mean? So it's almost always harking back to that Woodland DPM. When you get brand new kit and it's all bright and shiny, what do? You can dull it down a bit with a rattle can to make it a little bit darker. Woodland DPM.
I think that's why I like my M81s. I prefer M81 pattern over.
Again,
DPM.
very like the M81. It is the DPM of the US Army, isn't it?
Basically, much.
Yeah. It's probably the most famous for the US. That's one of their ones. Their top. It's one that's one standout color.
I mean, to be fair, if you think of the three camouflage patterns, you've got the Vietnam War for the US, which is just OD for the most part. I know there's Tiger Stripe and stuff
you had
like that,
you had the SOCOM, didn't you, with their with the Tiger Stripe and that.
But I think
Tiger Stripe's still in use by the Air Force, like to this day. A lot of their what do they call them, rescue services. A lot of them still wear Tiger Stripe.
Yeah, it's just the Air Force and your hat.
just this.
But nice. I think if you were to stereotype, I think the OD green of the Vietnam War. I think you've got the M81, which if you've looked at any kind of 1980s, 1990s US film that's got troops in there, the National Guard or anything like that, it's all M81 camo. And then I think for the most part, you don't kind of see too much of the Multicam. It's more the ACU digital. That kind of grey. Those are kind of the three camos I think that have been around for such a long time with the US that they've just ingrained themselves. What is that?
Vietnam helmet cover.
Okay.
But I can't show you the other side because it is so green. It just turns into Woodland DPM. However, yeah. But that looks very, very similar to the Polish Desert. The inside, obviously, the other side, it's just like a darker green rather than the tans. But yeah, Oda surplus, baby, all the way.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's I mean, you get like the OD greens, like your fatigues, and then they'd have like a camoed helmet or the nets over the helmet. I mean, granted, that most of them had a toothbrush and a fucking 20 Marlboro sticking out the side of them, but for the most part, there was camouflage there as well.
Well, I mean, ultimately, you're right. If you're going to camouflage anything first, you're going to be doing your head, surely, because for the most part, the head is what you're sticking up to shoot other people with. You can kind of, if you lay down.
It's breaking up that silhouette, isn't it? Breaking up that shape, that human shape that you can easily sort of PID. Trying to get rid of that head and shoulder sort of thing.
You saw that as well. I mean, if you Google any of the kind of World War I, World War II snipers, like some of the weird and wonderful camos and kind of concealment systems that they came up with at those sort of times were just, You know, they look weird now, but back in the day, that was, you know, it was new, it was innovative at the time.
Well, that's it. I mean, and obviously from there you've got like additions to camouflage. Now, not so much what you're wearing or the colour of the pattern you're wearing, but what you're using to camouflage. Like, are you using a hide? Are you using a screen? You know, what are you making? What are you adding to it? Like, you rip bits of Hessian stripping and things like that. You know, like shredded materials, just to add that more 3D image away, taking it away from just being a flat person's body. You know, adding them bits and bobs in. I remember before I even started doing Airsoft, a friend of mine had done it for a day, and he went to I don't know what site, it was just donkeys years ago, but there was a guy there who had who'd tailored his own sort of camouflage deployment system. How good it was, I don't know, but the way he described it, it was essentially like he had like 4 lines running down his sort of like assault vest, if you like, with like a big ring thing at the front, and when he lay prone, he pulled this thing and like branches and sticks all went up on his back.
That's amazing.
So, yeah, and then obviously when he let it go again, it was like it pulled down. It was like a T-bar, and it sort of clamped into this hook, and they went up, right. And then when he wanted to move, he just did that, and they just dropped back down like a cape. So when he was prone, he had like actual foliage of branches above him.
The hedgehog 6,000,
like little shrubs, and you know, like little baby plants and trees, little shrubs just poked up in the air. Yeah, like a porcupine sort of thing. Yeah, I thought that was quite interesting. Yeah.
No, that's cool.
Is it interesting one? Brushstroke camo, which was originally developed by the British paratroopers in World War II, was them getting large brushes of different coloured paints and washing it over their khaki kits before jumping. Later on in the 1960s, this design was also used to design the tiger stripe patterning, which was used during the Vietnam War.
There you go.
Nice. So that is called a brush stroke camo, which is something with long erratic lines all traveling in one direction.
Yeah. Almost like it is like literally like a swipe, like claw swipe. Of course, yeah, I love them Denison smocks, the old pattern Denison smocks. They're so expensive, especially even the repro ones now. They're like a couple of £100. I mean, I've got a Denison smock, but it's just a plain khaki because I'm doing that for my Scud Hunter loadout, and it's just a plain desert tan, which I can sort of add my black and sort of greyish sort of stripe into. But yeah, that's a nice bit of kit. That is, I like that. Nice old vintagey feel to it, rugged, like me really.
Just naturally brushstroke.
Just naturally brushstroke. What do you do, beard stroke? Yeah, just dip my beard in a paint pot and just brush it over people.
Just
I guarantee you we could sell one of those t-shirts.
Yeah,
I'm gonna do it.
You've been Lance.
Yeah.
Unique Lance camo.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, my camo of choice I wanted to kind of bring up is one that I've talked about before. So this is the WZ 92 Pantera, 93 Pantera. This is a Polish camouflage.
I was just about to say that is literally Polish, isn't it? Yeah.
I love it, and I don't know why I love it particularly, but I just call it. To me, it's the jigsaw camo, and I just really like it. I just think it's a cool pattern. It's something a little bit different. But this was, I think, Pantera means panther. But it's basically used by sort of Polish forces, and then sort of various units that trained with the Polish forces as well. Because I think as they kind of train and work together, I think they obviously kind of share kit and bits like that, and some of this stuff just gets adopted. Apparently, it came into effect in like the 1990s. It kind of replaced their current kit that they had then. I just think it looks cool. I think it's kind of that DPM coloring. It doesn't have as much of the kind of the brighter colors to me as the Woodland DPM. It's obviously got a tan in there, but it's more of a muted tan. Yeah,
it's sort of a weird love child, isn't it? Between
it's kind of like you've taken a Woodland DPM and made a puzzle out of it.
Yeah,
I like. I love the Polish desert. The Polish desert for me pattern is fabulous, but it's so expensive to get. I mean, you can get obviously knockoff Polish desert, but you can't the real stuff. I mean, even my friend Zibby from work, who's Polish, and when he went back, he goes back there hunting an awful lot. I said, you know, if you do come past a surplus store, just have a look and see if they've got any in there. It's just like so expensive. Even out there, it's so expensive.
One of the reasons it's so expensive is ultimately how much of it is available. Because, you know, if you want Woodland DPM kit, there is a lot of that available in surplus. But people like that color pattern. You've got an awful lot of it about, and therefore people want more of it because, you know, they want things to match. So they're making stuff for that. If we go with, you know, the bricolage, using that as a pure jokey example, you have to get stuff like that custom made. And I'm currently trying to find 9 other friends that would also want a bricolage U-back, because I've been talking to a manufacturer on Instagram. So if anyone would like a bricolage U-back, let me know. Because I thought that'd be quirky.
But you say about the jokey camos. See, I personally, and they do work, but you know, like the duck hunting camos. So it's like a printed image of a forest or something.
Like reed effect, like Jack Pike stuff.
Yeah. Like that seems to be getting more and more popular within Airsoft. For me, they don't seem to go dark enough. A lot of them, like, they're a very sort of tan autumn sort of color.
It's almost like a photo print, isn't it, onto a material, rather than it being designed onto the material. It's only a small
section, isn't it? So it just kind of repeats itself.
I mean, one for me is the oak effect. I like that one. I think that works very, very well. Where you actually got a bit of the bark in the background, and you've got the oak leaf shapes and stuff like that. I think that's one of the best of the like mass produced, if you like, sort of thing. Like what is the word I'm looking for? It's not real. It's been created. Come on.
I don't know what word you're looking for.
No, it's not manufactured. I'll come to me later on, don't worry.
Yeah. It won't. It'll be like right at the end of the show.
It won't. It'll be about 3 o'clock tomorrow morning when I'm at work, and I go. F.
No, I was going to say a lot of the hunting patterns and stuff like that you kind of see. You know, you can get some of the kit in Decathlon and things. Is US based.
John Stockman, give that man an award. Artificial. I did want to say prosthetic, and it's not prosthetic. I had it in my mind. It's not that. Of course, it's not that. But it's along the same sort of lines.
Yeah. But a lot of these patterns are quite. Again, they're based on wherever they've been originated from. So if you're getting a lot of the patterns from kind of North America, or, you know, the woods in like the kind of northeast US and stuff like that, they're going to be massively different to the woodlands in the UK. So where one pattern works well there, it's not going to match here, for example. And you make the point about the 10 meters offset as well from who we're attacking ultimately in Airsoft. If you look at the difference between ghillie suits in the military and then ghillie suits in Airsoft, for the most part, some of these ghillie suits that you see, they're the bad ones, the ones you see, but the ones that you see in Airsoft, to me, are a million times better than some of the ones where, you know, you're fighting over 1 kilometer, 2 kilometers, something like that.
Yeah. I mean, 9 times out of 10, it's. I mean, obviously that's changing now. Obviously, with drones coming into it, you know, that game's going to have to be stepped up, obviously, because of the way the battlefield's changing. Not that I'm an expert or anything in it, but, you know, from what you see in videos and news and things like that, you know, drones are becoming more, you know, especially obviously in Ukraine. You know, that's the main contact that's sort of going on at the moment, and drones are at the forefront of everything, literally. And, you know, obviously that's going to have to be taken into account. You know, people are going back underground now on the front line. You know, you're harking back to, you know, trench warfare, and the aerial threat is massive. You know, when you can get a drone hovering above you, like sort of 40 feet above you, looking down, trying to pick out a pair of snipers. You know, you're going to have to be on your game with your screen, not only visually but from a thermal point of view, and that as well. So
we'll come on to that next week, because we're going to be talking about multi-spectral camo in next week's episode. Oh, no,
that sounds like something that sounds like a Ghostbusters thing. Multi-spectral,
active.
Yeah.
See,
Let's
that's
just
what I was
jump-
trying to say. That I agree with John Stockholm. That's like where he said Airsoft is a combat sim, so personal opinion is military camo is right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Civic camo is wrong. Obviously, yeah, like I agree with that as well. But obviously, if you are paying a civvy role in a mil sim, then they may have more
I'd let
access.
that. I'd let that go for if you're wearing some Jack Pike and you're playing a Civ Pop Hunter or something. Then yeah, because that's what you would be wearing. But I do get it from a PID point of view. Each side has to be distinguishable between the two, like Op4, Blue 4. Playing solid colours for Op4 and Multicam or MTP for NATO or whatever it might. You know what I'm saying. But that civilian grey area, where you are the grey man sort of thing. 1 minute you're running a shop, the next minute you're out. Oh, I'm hunting. Quite literally hunting.
Yeah.
So
It's
I did
interesting.
have
yeah, go on.
sorry, go on. No, you first.
No, go on.
Mine can wait, honestly, towards the end.
Okay. I was just going to say it's interesting the civilian camo approach as well. So we've talked a bit about military camos and things like that, but quite often when you see civilians kind of step up into more of a militarized role in any way, like rebels or freedom fighters, whatever you want to say, they start adopting military camo patterns. So for some of the events which kind of instigate, no, you're a drug cartel, you have to wear Hawaiian shirts, jeans, etc. It to me is a little bit far-fetched, and I appreciate that with Airsoft there is a problem with PID, but I think when we've done Op Phoenix as an example, we completely scuppered that argument along the basis of if you know where your team is, then PID shouldn't be an issue, and that's where you've got to work together. And
I'm a firm believer of that. I'm an absolute firm believer of that. Of like just like, well, he's not wearing the right camo. Well, that doesn't come into it. You need to know where your teams are. You need to know where your friendlies are, regardless. So that shouldn't come into it. If he's rocking a pair of DPM Woodland trousers and he's wearing a multicam top, oh well, he's not wearing any conforming to the. Really, come on.
But
he's
an
fucking
interesting
facing the same way as you. He's shooting the bad
literally,
guys.
Literally this weekend at the JBG CQB training, where we were kind of swapping because we were doing some 4-on-4 stuff, and where we're swapping the teams about, and we've got kind of different people playing different roles. It is quite tricky to know in that situation because one person might be on your team 1 minute and then 20 minutes later you're against them. So it does kind of hamper that PID a little bit from that perspective. But I think if you're actually at a milsim event and you're working in a team, you should be working together on that basis. So you're not going to be having that turnover of friend and foe.
But then also that's down to zero as well, being able to coordinate the sections that are out there. So on their way out, you would say, right, just be mindful. Alpha team is out there already in this location. Be advised, like be on guard when you go out there. Don't shoot them in the back. Whereas like we've all been to events where we've gone out and we've stumbled across one of our own patrols, and you're like, what are you doing here? Oh, Zero sent us out. Well, that's what we're doing here. Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay.
That's the thing
we'll
the thing where it's not just movement, right? Light it up, isn't it? Because you've got to have eyes on. You've got to kind of use something more of your senses to work out, are they friend or foe before they get to you. So, for example, how are they moving? For example, civilian forces at an event might be a lot more casual in terms of how they're moving through the AO. If they've got certain identifiers, you can use your call and response challenge codes and things like that. There's a lot of different ways that you can kind of confirm that PID.
I mean, even going for that,
light them up.
Like you say, going out like your challenge codes and stuff like that. If you're going if you're in a fob or you're in a harbour area or whatnot, and you have got say for example, you've got a night patrol going out, and you've got someone on stag who's got a night optic device, who's going to be watching them coming back in. Obviously, they're coming back in on a certain, maybe the same track that they've gone out on, or a different one. But you'd obviously, before you went out, you'd let the stag know that where you're coming back in from, and it might not even necessarily be a verbal challenge. You might say, like for example, in Bravo 20, because I've been listening to it again recently. Andy McNabb says, he goes, when we went out to do our recce patrol to find the main MSR route, he said, when I come back in, he said, so you know it's me, he said, I'll approach on my own with my arms out wide and my rifle in my right hand, and I will walk like that towards you, so you know it's me, and then I'll bring the rest of the team up with me, and then we'll come back into the OP. And yeah, so obviously you haven't got to think, oh right, you can do that on a number challenge where the number would be 7 and you could say 4 and they'll have to say 3 or something like that. Do you know what I mean? It hasn't got to be like, all you've got to do is say, right, I've just got to go back, arms out, rifle in my right hand, and then they'll know it's a friendly sort of thing or whatever it might be, and change it up. You know, you could hop, for example.
I'm yet to go to an event where having a challenge code system works, because you know what harkens back to the dog tag event that we did with Defiant, where we're on stag, you got someone walking towards you and like, you know, you call out 3 and they're like, you're a mate, and they're like, 3 what? 3? Yeah. What are you talking about? Why are you saying 3 at me? This is the challenge code, dude. I told you this when you went to the toilet. You've got to tell me the alternate. Oh, I've forgotten what the number was.
I feel like that's aimed at me.
No, it wasn't you. It wasn't you.
I did it. I did it as well. Like,
okay.
I went for a piss into the toilet, came back, and he shouted out a number, and I went, "Oh, it's Andy," and he went, "All right."
So yeah, it's a change. But the point I was trying to make, going back to talking about the civilian camos and stuff like that, when we did Op Phoenix, it was really hard to break some of the airsofters out of this kind of traditional, oh right, I'm playing a NATO style force, so I'm going to wear all multicam. You're like, no, right? Think about it. You don't just have to blend in with your environment. You have to consider some of the other factors to blend in with as well. If you've got a civilian force in the area, and the game rules allow it, you can blend in more with what the civilians are wearing. So, you know, you don't have to be rocking around in full bloody multicam the whole time.
No, absolutely not.
You know, if you're going to be doing an event which is, I don't know, Afghan based for whatever purpose, and you want to start wearing some of the local gear that you know the civilian forces are wearing. Again, it does massively depend.
Exactly.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be like we're not talking like undercover and like hidden carry and stuff like that. But to me, that makes the event more interesting because you've got that shoot or no shoot scenario. If you're making it harder to identify what's going on, it to me is just more of an interesting challenge. Whereas if you might as well just be at a skirmish where everyone's got blue armbands and red armbands. Sometimes, like it's bonkers. But
John says, I may be showing my age, but we had once challenge was banana, response was man. I love that show. John, do you remember his address out of interest? Always said it at the beginning of the show.
Oh yeah.
I can't remember. I remember the name of the road. I can't remember the number of the house.
The other day, it was on the telly, Banana Man.
Yeah, I know his name was Eric, but I can't remember the house number. I know it's Acacia Road, but I can't remember. Is it 29? I think it's 29. 29 Acacia Road? I can't remember. Anyhow, yeah, sorry, tangent. Went off on one.
No, that's fine.
Yeah, what a glorious cartoon that was.
Sorry, Harry made me laugh as well. He said, Hoc toi.
Hoc toi would make a great team challenge. Yeah, nice, like it. I should have worn my t-shirt. Right. I've got a Hoc Tour t-shirt now. 13 Acacia Road. Was it 13? This is 13 Acacia. I don't know if it was 13.
I can remember knowing the full intro off the top of my head, but for the life of me, I wouldn't be able to tell you it now.
Oh, there we go. It must be 13. Kenny's has to have Googled that. There's no way he's actually just guessed. Of course he's Googled it. You've Googled it, sir.
All right, jumping into some of the questions and comments that we've had in. Lance, one for you from Marky Mark. On the DPM appreciation group, there was a link put up to a YouTube video about the transition from DPM to MTP, and it wasn't a bad watch.
Yeah, okay, well, check it out. Nicely done.
Yeah, we'll have to dig that one out and put it on the community chat.
Yes.
John says, allegedly some troops put their ACU in with a brown dye and made it more useful, but got into serious crap for it. Which I can imagine. Yeah. Drew says, what about the Denison smock pattern? Big colour blocks.
Yes, the brushstroke, which Andy mentioned. Yeah, absolutely. It's very cool. They were very cool looking paratroopers. I know they went through the meat grinder, but they did look very cool. Yeah, fair play.
Drew says, when I done my camo course, the instructor said that the uniform needed to blend the human form using Mark 1 eyeball at 100 meters. See, that's too far for airsoft, isn't it? Really, if you want to be,
I was right.
Get it right. 29.
Whoop whoop. What do I win? What do I win? Do I win something? I'll take that. I'll take a fanfare all day. I was going to say 46, but there we go.
No, it's fine. So I mean, where Drew's saying that obviously the Mark 1 eyeball at 100 meters. 100 meters is basically the range of an awful lot of the kind of average airsoft platforms at maximum. So it's not great necessarily blending in that far away, but it depends on what you're trying to do. If you're trying to get proper sneaky, like obviously some of the airsofters do with the ghillie suits and things like that, then obviously they're going to be getting a lot closer. Yeah. Drew says wearing a ghillie suit in the frozen food section of Tesco's does not work.
No, I can imagine it not, unless it's like a huge sack of peas or something. Peas would work.
Andy, you're on mute, by the way. I don't know if you know. Okay. Harry says the best camo is mud. Arnie was completely invisible to a predator. True story.
Yeah, absolutely true story.
Can you imagine rocking up to an airsoft event and be like, I don't need camo, and then just like literally smothering yourself in mud? That's me done for the weekend.
That's the sort of thing I could see you doing though. Out of the three of us, if it was out of the three of us, if I had to pick, if we were set like who would be the one to do this? Mike, all day long. I'm just going on previous. I'm just going on previous things that you've done at events.
Yeah, fair enough. 100% committed.
Yeah. Go hard or go home, so I reckon.
Yeah, exactly. Stephen says, what about Belgian jigsaw?
Belgian jigsaw?
Now, I have to admit, I'm not totally up to speed with that one. I think.
Kenny Rebel says, I've sat 5 foot from people in DPM. Well, like on a train or something, or like an event. Anyone could do that, Ken. It's just whether they can see you or not, mate. Come on.
Just so like War and Peace or whatever like that is just
just on the commute in the morning with my smock on. Morning. Who said that?
There we go. That's the Belgian jigsaw.
Oh, that's fun.
I can't say I'm a fan personally. I think it's quite brightly coloured. I
see like pub/social club carpet.
Yeah.
Or old chair covers, to be fair, Kenny. That's why they spotted him, because he wasn't wearing that on the train in his DPM. That's what it was. On an objective, you fool. Yes, I'm sorry, I know. Although it has got Denison Parasmoke undertones to it. Thank you, Andy, for your I concur.
I was thinking of how to describe it, and then I just thought it looks a little bit like vomit.
I'm not sure about the black stripe running through it though. What's that all about? Or is that someone just I
think that's just
edit?
That image. To be fair, that's okay. Not, yeah, I don't think that's the There we go.
Oh, it looks all right out there.
But that doesn't. It doesn't to me seem like it's blending in particularly well. Like there's an awful lot of that.
No. But he looks smart nonetheless.
He looks very smart, and I wouldn't ever take a piss out of him.
Let's go back to the red coats. Didn't blend into anything, but they look smart.
Yeah, they look good.
Yeah, go on, lads. Dapper.
Marky Mark says, "Oi, Tizzit had a choice of DDPM or DPM. I would like to, and I will put this in.
They had a choice of DDPM or DPM.
Yeah. Not I will put this
not together.
No. Although it
does look cool.
But I will put the picture in the on the Facebook group. I'm sure the people won't mind, but
spot mark.
Basically, I've got this lovely photo. I think we all know the meme, which is the white girl sitting on the sofa surrounded by a load of gentlemen. We all recognise that image from.
Oh yes,
Andy,
yes,
I know
yes,
you
yes.
do.
No, I do. I use it. I use it a lot.
But there's a lovely picture I managed to get of Mark. So Mark's standing there in his desert DPM, surrounded by a wall of woodland DPM, and it was just funny as anything. It's like,
Where did he go? Where did he go?
So right. What was next? Drew just says, remind you for the three of you, we've got signed copies of the history of British infantry for your next charity drive. Thank you, Drew. We will get that sorted out.
I put them away.
John says, when the boots land in Eastern Europe, DPM and US Woodland will be back in style.
Absolutely, mate. If it's not there already. Actually, I haven't seen any DPM out there in the field yet. In any of the videos that I've watched.
Oh, no, they got their own Ukrainian camo. Ukrainian camo looks fucking awesome.
Pound, swear pot. Sorry, Noah.
Sorry, Noah.
I'd like to add, I think I've only dropped one F-bomb this evening.
I think I've dropped about 8 now. I think I'm going to be in debt.
I'm very
We're going to have to record a little soundbite of sorry, Noah.
Sorry, Noah.
It's just going to be
all three of us. Sorry.
No, just you at the moment.
No, I'm just bringing up the Ukrainian camo. So one of the things I have noticed in the early days of the conflict were I saw some Baofangs and stuff in use, which was quite entertaining.
Classic.
Not entertaining from the prospect of people being at war, but just like, oh look, they've got a Baofang on.
I've got that one.
Russia still couldn't hack them.
Yeah.
That's because they didn't change the language. It was sit down more shit still.
Yeah.
Oh.
Exactly. Oh, pound swear pot. Sorry, Noah.
Yeah. Sorry, Noah.
I'll pay the extra £1 for the radio as well.
Yeah, no, it's quite a cool camo pattern.
Yeah, I really like it.
Yeah, that's quite. Again, it's very Minecraft. It looks like a Minecraft map.
It does look like a Minecraft map. That's exactly what I was thinking of. It looks like Doom or something like that, doesn't it?
Yeah,
yeah. Way around that map.
First Doom. What map?
What map?
That's a map. Yeah, nice.
What I think is quite a funny one is the North Korean camo pattern.
Is that the bright green?
Yeah,
yeah. Like, that's what I was trying to find earlier because I wanted to bring that one up myself. That's
but no, they've recently upgraded to actually having a proper camo pattern. But basically, all they've done is just painted like white spots over this really bright green. It's amazing.
Maybe that's what Kim Jong Un's told them. That's what the other worlds look like.
Yeah.
Out there, it's all this color. You will disappear. Oh, there they are. Look.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's very green.
But it doesn't even blend into the ground that they're at. This is our promo photo. We'll put them in the driest part of the land that we can find.
And he's got his eyes shut when he's shooting. That's dangerous. Blind firing.
To be fair, that's how I fire a gas blowback as well. Like,
well,
I don't like the gas flying towards my face. It kicks off my flinch reflex. I really struggle with it. It does. I can't help it. Yeah, true. One other picture I did just want to share as well is that I've just found is there appears to be some. I don't know if this is British DPM. It doesn't look like it. It kind of looks like a mix between British and M81.
It's like a British DPM pattern, but M81 colouring, isn't it?
Yeah, it is a bit.
Quite like that. That looks a bit. Actually, do you know what? That looks more Dutch because the Dutch is.
So who's that? North?
Ah, it might be Dutch. To be fair, I think that's south.
No, south. They do it properly. They know what the rest of the world looks like, so that's why their camo patterns like that.
I don't know. There's no reference. That says North Korea warns region is on the brink of war in 2010. So that could be, I don't know,
whoever.
Yeah.
And we're well past 2010 now, so don't worry.
Woohoo! Yeah. We managed to reach the brink of war in 2010. Now we're on the brink of war in 2024. Perfect. Right.
He's North Korean and you think his eyes are shut. No, I know that, John, but his eyes were definitely closed. I know what you're saying, and I'm not falling into your trap, sir. I'm not having that. His eyes were shut. You fucking bastard. Wow. Oh, there's a pound in a swear pot. Sorry, Noah.
It's two. It's two for that one. Sorry, Noah. Right. Let's talk about the science of camouflage and what you're obviously trying to achieve. So, let's look at the micro picture first in terms of kind of the small little the difference between macro texture and micro texture. So micro textures, you're looking at the kind of localized little bits like little twigs and stuff like that. Like if you put a solid panel of a color in the woods, you're going to get a very distinct difference between that panel at a distance than up close. Trees and things obviously don't just have one solid color. They have a lot of kind of undulations, texture differences, and color differences.
No straight lines.
No,
like
and macro is obviously when you're further away, so you're kind of trying to blend that kind of bigger color swathes, almost like your brush strokes that we were talking about. I'm getting very articulate with my hands. I apologize.
Oh yeah, very jazz hands.
I'm gonna put them down.
He's got very teachery, hasn't he?
Yeah. Yes, yeah.
Very professional.
Quite to the back, or I'll write your name on the board. When we had Ed on the show,
don't do that to your teacher. Especially in a Catholic school.
Jesus.
Bendigedig.
Yeah,
or you'll get some of that, sir. And nobody wants a bit of Bendigedig.
No. Right, what I was trying to say. So when we had Silly Gilly on the show, he was talking about very similar concept with the macro and micro texture when you're kind of putting a ghillie suit together. So don't just throw a whole load of colors on there. You kind of want that macro pattern. So you've got like swathes of almost like the Woodland DPM, but you kind of want to create that of yourself. And then when you start looking at the micro texture, you start incorporating things like your leaves and kind of your smaller details into that. So let's talk about camouflage patterns first in terms of what your kind of your shape and outline. So let's deal with the macro first, I guess. So Lance, do you want to kind of, because you talked briefly about it earlier in terms of breaking up the outlines and the sharp edges and stuff like that. So some of the ways that you can do that.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, your natural foliage around what's around you is the best way to go. Whether you're using like a boonie hat or anything like that, you can tuck bits and bobs into. Again, depending on what you are, depending on what your positioning is going to be. I mean, obviously, 9 times out of 10 as a sniper, you'll be laid up. So majority of your body is going to be hidden by your shoulders and head, and obviously your arms laying prone or bringing your rifle up to bear. So and it's that standout shape there. It's the head and across the shoulder. So it's sort of filling in that void there with vegetation or scrim nets or things like that. It's such a great addition. A scrim net with some bits added to it is fantastic because it's really lightweight, easy to put on, easy to take off. You haven't got to constantly move around with all of that on. You haven't got to constantly have all like the Hessian stripping over you and stuff like that, because obviously you will cook. It's like the old Wookiee suits. I mean, they were really good for breaking up pattern because the head was so big, it almost come out to the shoulders. So you essentially didn't even look like a person. It was more like a bush. But it was so heavy and it's so snaggy and hot. It's awful. But if you can add to it rather than having it on all the time, I'm a firm believer in that. I love having a ghillie boonie hat. I mean, that's a really good addition. With obviously your cam cream is a must. But yeah, to break up that initial shape of like the human upper torso, it's filling in that void there. Do you know what I mean? That sort of like square foot around the shoulders and by the ears. And again, like I said, natural vegetation, obviously the way to go. The stiff wiring, Silly Gilly in his summer crafting kits, he adds, they're almost like pipe cleaners that you can shape and mould. I think you've got silly sticks. I think they're called silly sticks, and they're actually pre-tailored so they can fill in these voids and sort of poke out a bit and stuff like that, and it will help and it will break up shape. So that's the thing, it's breaking up that initial shape for me. And obviously having your base colour to start with, what you're going to be running out with, like your basic fatigues.
So do you want to, Andy, do you want to talk about like colours and kind of the colourings from that kind of macro approach?
Yeah, so
Drew's benefit.
It's very much have a look at the surrounding area that you're going to be playing in. If you're playing in areas that have got thin, light green brushes and like long straw areas, you don't want to be running around in basically like leaves, or like a dark green. So if you are playing that sort of role in a milsim or even in a skirmish, have a quick look at the photos, see what you're going to be going up against, and then choose your camo patterns or your base layers around that. Like the same with Lance. If I was wearing my hood, it's a very bare hood, and I literally go and ask the marshals, can I just go and cut down a couple of branches or whatever, and just kind of scavenge stuff on the ground level. One thing that I've seen a lot of people do is that they'll go straight up to a tree and they'll take the branches from this sort of level and put the leaves in there. So unless you're running around at that height the whole time,
I'm a tree.
Yeah, like, just standing there like that, going like. But there's a brilliant photo of me from years ago where I had a ghillie hood, which was basically straw. It was like I built it to go into one area, and I got pinned down in a bush, and there's this green bush behind me, and then just grass, like just poking out. So also as well, when you're taking cover, be mindful that your camo could give you away as well.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, 100%, mate. 100% agreed with that.
Drew says cam cream. Do you?
Like that.
Urban camo. Yeah, cam cream, mate. Always, Drew. Always cam up.
Be careful with cam cream is the only thing I'm going to say.
No, you need to be careful with cam cream.
There's three things that you need to be careful with camo. Or cam cream. First is when you're putting it on, there are very much different qualities of cam cream. So a lot of pots that you can buy are seemingly just melted crayons. I don't know what they're making this stuff out of, but it is hard as anything or it's soft as anything, and you kind of want proper decent cam cream. So don't just go out and buy like crap off of eBay and stuff like that. If you're going to try and find something, try and get it from a reputable source that is the original manufacturer of that product, because I have heard tales of some people taking the old empty pots and basically refilling it. I can only assume they're using melted crayons, because some of the stuff I've tried to use in the past, you might as well heat this stuff up with a lighter before you then try and put it on your face, then it just cakes straight away. So be careful on that front. If you are going to be placing camouflage on your body at all, don't just go solid colors, especially don't just go blacks and browns, because it's very awkward when you're doing it, especially at a skirmish day. People don't like it turns out. So you have to be very careful on that front. But what you're trying to do is obviously break up some of the natural contouring of your face. So, sort of diagonal lines and stuff like that. Depends on what kind of style you're going for. We're not experts on face paint at all or cam cream. But there's a whole load of YouTube.
There's a brilliant video out. And it's basically, he literally does his whole face in green first, and then he'll get a bit of brown, and he'll put that on his finger and just like kind of just smudge it in and blend it in. And then he'll get a bit of black, and he'll literally just get a tiny bit on like his finger, and he'll just like, he'll join his eyebrows up, and then so your eyebrows don't stand out, because he said that like normal facial features like eyes and eyebrows and your nose, he said, are the things that will stand out, because they're basically that sort of area. So he said you can join your eyebrows up, but then like go off in a skew, so your eyebrow doesn't look like an eyebrow. And I'll see if I can dig it out. It's a really good video.
Draw eyes down here.
It's almost on your chin. It's darkening the prominent features of the face, and then putting light into like the pitted areas of the face. You know what I mean, like into the cheeks and stuff like that. Lightening lighter areas there. So where the shadows, like around your eyes and things like that, putting sort of like a slightly lighter colour there. I mean, for me, it's usually just sort of like fingers across the face with like a bit of a brown, and then running like the lighter greens in between it and just dotting it about. Not too much. And obviously one of the things as well is always making sure you, when you can and when you do stop, is check it and make sure if it needs to be reapplied at all or not. And hands, if you're not wearing gloves, make sure you cam your hands up, ears, neck, all that's got to be done, unless you're using a scrim scarf or something. But yeah, I do the lot. We're quite good actually in our little team of people that we A lot of the guys use cam cream in that.
One thing that I would recommend though is buy the camo cream and then patch test it first.
Yeah.
Don't buy it and then throw it on your face, and then 20 minutes later you look like Mr. Blobby, where it's
I've completely broken the contours of my face up, mostly through anaphylactic shock.
Yeah, because like we've had a guy at Rift that's done that before. He's like smeared it all on, and then he's come in and he's like, my face is on fire. And we took the camo off, like the camo cream off, and it was all blistered where he'd had a reaction with the camo cream. So do be mindful. It is chemicals at the end of the day that you are smearing on your face, and it's military chemicals.
That's my two palettes I use. So obviously you've got a darker. That's the British issue one, US Marines issue one.
Yeah, I like the British one though. I think the British
one's good, but
nicer.
I do like the lighter colours that you can add to from the US one, which is cool.
Is that white on the US one?
Yeah. It's got white in it.
Yeah, it's got white.
Yeah, just to lighten up, because you can mix it. You can make black into the grey then.
I was just thinking you literally just go white, just like this will confuse them.
Yeah.
Zebra camo.
Camo.
It's
good camo.
If you do find one of your palettes goes like dry, just a little bit of olive oil, and it brings it back. So if you're just chucking them out, you can bring them back to life. Yeah, I always have a cam cream.
Right, quick tip. I'll be interested to see what you two do. Do you ever go above your eye line? With your
Not too
cream?
far, because I've usually got a hat on.
Yeah. See, I found... See, being really sweaty when I'm running around, I find it just washes off, and then I'm instantly just getting it in my eyes. So I generally go with like a darker eye pro. So like your revision smoke lens or whatever, or the shade lens. But then kind of sticking it kind of around there, so it does look very strange when you take your hat and your eye pro off. But it means that you don't ever run the risk of that then washing down into your eyes.
Do you do your eyes? Do you do it with your eyes shut? Your cam cream, or do you leave them open and go around it?
No, literally, I don't even bother doing that. I just go, because my eye pro generally kind of sits above the ridge line of my cheeks.
Okay.
So I only really take the cam creams just slightly past that.
I go full on. I literally eyes shut.
That's it. I do.
In my ears.
Yeah.
Like when after an event, my missus is like,
so all of that, but just around the top of my head, I've had so many times where just the cam cream has started running into my eyes, and I'm like, and
it's amazing as well.
A couple of times it starts proper stingy burning.
Yeah, but how good it actually is when you're laid up in cover, like a bit of cover, but you've got like the interspersing sunlight coming in, and how it can illuminate a face to compare to someone who's sort of matted their face out basically with cam cream. Same with night time. You know, you've got a cammed up face and it's dark, and you're back in like you say rhododendron bushes or what it might be. Absolute game changer, massively. Yeah, it's good stuff.
Right, we've probably come to the end of this week's show. We're going to continue this next week. We're going to be talking about kind of different mix and match of camos, some camo gear reviews of our own personal stuff that we like using. Yeah, talking about the future of camo as well, and sort of multi-spectrum camos, which is a term I love using. I read that earlier and I was like, this is bang on.
That is my word.
Yeah, and then sort of potentially we'll be chatting about how you could, we'll come up with some like different event styles and things like that as well, and kind of discuss potential camo options, ignoring the fact that there may be very restrictions by the event organisers depending on what sort of event it is. But if you want to get in touch with us in the meantime, please feel free to leave a comment on this. We'd love to hear your own personal preferences of camos. If you come across anything particularly unique or interesting, throw it in the chat. Gives us a bit of a chance to actually look them up before the show, and then we can kind of find out a bit more about them, so we're not just having to try and scurry around on Google trying to find Belgium puzzle camo and stuff like that. It would be cool. But in the meantime, if you want to get in touch with us, you can do so either on the comments below or on an email at nofochat@hotmail.com. Instagram is @November_Foxtrot_NoFo, and the website is novemberfoxtrot.co.uk. If you want to get in touch with us quickly, I would suggest using Instagram at the moment, just because the email and the website is just a little bit slower, because only I monitor those, and I am not on it at the moment in terms of that. Whereas if you come through on Instagram or Facebook, or on our own individual Instagrams about 9volt Airsoft at @callsign_quartermaster or at _punished_1.
Just search punish one, it comes up. It's fine.
There you go.
Yeah.
And you can get in touch with us that way as well. But let us know your weird and wonderful camos, because it'll be cool to look those up. I have seen the T-shaped camo, John. In that there. So
I should have referenced my video I did. I didn't do. I should have mentioned that. That's got my. If you go to my YouTube, that's got my Rust camo bloody thing called Hood. That's the one. Yeah. Nightmare.
What is this thing that covers my head?
Yeah, well, it worked quite well because I tried it in different areas, like you said earlier about like it's all well and good having a ghillie suit, but if you're in different areas, it can be completely out of place. Like if you're in a pine forest and it's all oak leaf and things like that, you know, it's like, whoa. But it seemed where I went, it was diverse and it sort of did do its job to an extent. So yeah, worth a little look if you if you happened to go across it.
Yeah.
Fellas, hi.
Sarah, hi.
Hello.
Hi.
We're going now.
So we'll be back next week, Wednesday, 8 o'clock. If you would like to leave us a review or anything like that, please feel free to do so.
Yes.
If you want to give us a little thumbs up or a like or however it works on the various social medias that you're looking
I'm
at.
pointing up there, but it's not.
Yeah, they're all over the place.
Just like on a review note, I don't think we've read a review out in like well over a year.
We haven't had a review in well over a
So
year.
I'm just saying,
Review.
guys and girls,
If you're new, we've got a lot of new names that have popped up.
you know,
Give us a
granted, I don't expect you to leave a review on on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or Podbean or whatever it might be.
To be fair, the best ways of leaving a review are on Apple Podcasts or on Facebook.
Yeah.
Just because.
Yeah.
If it's your first show, you know, not expecting one yet. You know, give it a couple.
No. Yeah.
But
And
for all
just remember,
you hardened veterans listeners,
and just
who
remember,
haven't done
if you use the accent, Mike will read it out in that accent.
yeah,
Mike will attempt to.
Mike will read it out in that
Attempt.
accent.
I think attempt is very important here.
So, like, if anyone wants to mention like North Korea, that could be quite a funny one.
I think we
that's
need
a
to bring
Lance
me
one.
and Andy
Lance
into
has
this.
to do
Whole...
North Korea
Why do I have to do North Korea?
because of the whole debacle earlier.
There was no debacle there. He had his eyes closed. End of conversation.
What was I going to mention? Yes, and then if you wouldn't, if you feel that this information may be of any use to anybody else, feel free to share as well. You don't have to, but it just kind of gets the name out there, which is handy.
Yeah.
Basically. So,
Yes, that would be nice.
who would like the closing words for this week?
Oh, didn't we discuss that earlier? What was the closing
didn't
words
we?
earlier? I can't remember now.
Oh yeah, don't listen to us.
Oh yeah, that's what it was. Yeah. Don't listen to that.
Cover yourself in mud.
There you go.
Yeah.
Cover yourself in mud.
Doubt.
Yeah,
No,
don't
We
that
should
was
do
mud.
that. Well, we should genuinely do it. We should go a little. We should have a little cheeky skirmish day and just literally turn up with a bucket of mud. Like do a summer one, shorts and t-shirt, or shorts and vests, so there's more skin on show,
Yeah.
and literally just smother ourselves in mud, like, and then
We
stand
should-
there ready
we
for the
should get
briefing.
A packet of white t-shirts. All right, we all have a white t-shirt each. We can wear whatever we want, like lower half, but you have
And
to
then
wear
get like a
white
hose
t-shirt.
pipe and
And
shower.
then we have an hour. No, you have an hour to basically camouflage yourself, and then we can lay in different scenarios, and we can have like
white
panel of
t-shirt,
people.
white gym shorts, and plimsolls,
Pink
and white knee-high socks.
Yeah.
I am up for this challenge. I am well up for this challenge, and you've got 1 hour to camouflage yourself. Hi, can we
No,
please do this?
I think that
Please
would
let
be
this
quite
be a
entertaining.
thing. I am
Yeah.
well up for that. Even if we did it at the private site and just did a video.
So we'll head over the woods, and we'll just be like,
Yeah,
right,
right.
you've got well,
An
maybe
hour.
2 hours. Maybe 2 hours.
I know, because we'll be fed up after an hour.
Bored.
I'm so
just
cold and wet.
I just want to be hunting you after that. Yeah, brilliant.
But
I'm
that
up
would
for
be a
that.
wicked escape and evasion event, wouldn't it? Right. You're on your own for a weekend. All you've got is a bag that's also white for some reason. And then it's like, escape from sixth form gym lesson. That's what that event would be called.
No, it'd have to be a white pillowcase, gym PE bag. Do you remember?
Yeah, on a
the old-
stick,
yeah, on
on
a
a
stick.
Yeah.
with a bright red beanie.
No,
Right, on that note-
white Robin Hood hats. with a white chicken
Goodbye,
feather
guys.
sticking out of it. Goodbye, guys.
Oh, we're going. Bye, man.
Goodbye.
We'll
We're
see you
going now.
next week.
Night,
Hey,
night.
NoFo.
Ciao, Bella. Stay NoFo. And all that stuff. All them good bits.
He cut us off mid-conversation again, Lance.